After the dizzying heights of Tuesday, oh, we are brought back down to earth with a bang. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It is time for another review of another Oxford United game. It is Ian with you, but unfortunately, Thomas cannot be with you, so we needed to find a suitable replacement. And in our hour of need, we turned to Patreon backer, friend of the channel, family member of the channel, the pessimistic one and sometimes optimistic one himself, Robert Allen.
Hello. Good to be
Robert,
back.
when will you learn to not back Oxford to win games of football?
I know it's my fault. If I'd said we're going to lose 5-0, we'd be fine. But so blame me.
Right, we'll jump into this one. Just in team news, Oxford made one change from the side that played on Tuesday night, and it's not a surprise that most of the side is unchanged because they were excellent against Doncaster. Mark Sykes came back in instead of Shadipo, which raises its own questions in itself. I'm not quite sure why that happens. I guess it was a fitness thing. Blackpool, good side, but don't score a lot of goals and a very good defensive. Then they got ex-Oxford United loanee Luke Garber in the side, but watch out for Jerry Yates and Sonny Kai as well. But without wasting any more time, we're just going to dive into this one, and there's going to be no cuts. I'm just going to say straight away, a terrible performance and a terrible result. It ended Oxford United 0, Blackpool 2. Robert,
Ian, what the hell?
well, I was just going to say, over the years, we've been to many crappy Oxford performance in Kassam Stadium at the Manor Ground. How does that rank in terms of what you've seen? I mean, it's fresh in the memory, isn't it? But how does that rank in terms of bad performances?
This feels a bit Kempish, I must say. This has a slight Kempish air to it, with a side dish of note of a bit of a Rix and a bit of a Talbot attached to it as well.
A bit of a garnish of Talbot. Yeah, you could throw a bit of Mark Wright in there as well, couldn't you?
And topped off of a little Clawtet cherry.
Okay, we could just name bad Oxford managers, really, couldn't we?
Yeah, let's start. Okay.
That sounds like more fun than talking about this game. But I think we better start peeling back the layers of this performance. And for me, whereas Oxford started so strongly against Doncaster on Tuesday night, it was like the complete opposite here. They were so sloppy and almost very lazy, like at the start, very dozy. And it just allowed Blackpool to start on the front foot. And they looked a lot more, and I hate to say this, but they looked a lot more up for the game than we did.
Didn't Robinson say something about taking the handbrake off and starting to play with a bit more fluidity? And that wasn't the case to start this match at all. We really did seem very sloppy, very lethargic. And gradually, as it dawned into, this wasn't just us playing, a sloppy, slow start. We were actually playing quite badly.
Yeah, really poorly, really sloppy, and we just invited all the pressure onto ourselves. And it was only really Brandon Barker looking like any kind of a bright spark for Oxford up until the first goal, really. And the first goal came from a set piece, not very well cleared from Oxford. Initially it was well cleared by Matt Taylor, but it came straight back in. And it was just one of those ones, if you don't clear that second ball and let it bounce around in the area, you're asking for trouble. To be fair, we've usually been pretty good at that of late, and we haven't
I was
conceded
surprised when
many.
they scored.
Yeah, we haven't conceded too many sloppy goals, but it was a sloppy one here. And Dougal was kind of left with just an easy finish, really, when he just powered it in from a close range. 1-0 down, but you felt that might be the kick up the arse we needed to hopefully spur us onto something better.
Well, we had looked dangerous in spells going forward. Like you say, Barker was looking good. Sykes had sort of created chances as well. And you were just sort of thinking, all it would need is a couple of good sort of crosses into the box. We get another goal, we get a goal, and then we're back into the game. So you weren't too concerned at that stage.
No,
but it never really developed.
Sykes had a good chance, didn't he? It was a good effort,
That
good
was a
shot.
decent chance, but that was it.
I mean, it was a good shot by Mark Sykes. It went narrowly wide, but Oxford really struggled to create. I think through midfield, it was only really when we did get Barker on the ball and Sykes, to be fair, on the other side, that we looked pretty dangerous. And you were just kind of hoping that it's a crap result, but if you can go in 1-0 down, and I'll phrase that again, then you can come out and it's kind of still pretty much even Steven really at that point. If you 1-0 deficit is quite easy to overturn, but we couldn't do that, Robert, could we? We could not manage it.
And all because of your favourite, the man of the channel, Mr. Liam Kelly.
No, yeah, unfortunately, and I will give him credit at the start by saying that this is off the back of two pretty decent Liam Kelly performances, and I did think he played pretty well. I actually thought the game at Doncaster was probably his best game in an Oxford shirt. But this mistake, I think, is unforgivable for me. It is shocking. It's Oxford playing it out from the back, a very routine ball given to him by Jamie Hansen. All he has to do is just cushion the ball back to him, but it balloons off his foot and goes behind for a corner. It is such a shocking bit of control from. I don't really know what Liam Kelly is, but I get the feeling he's kind of like a guy who's supposed to be composed on the ball and got a good touch. But this was awful. This was a shocker.
I was at the start of the season. Radio Oxford were almost presenting him as being sort of a cultured midfielder, someone who could be on the ball, who can unlock a defence, who's a man who's going to be able to spring that pass. Who's going to be, the sort of like the magician in the midfield, if you like.
Yeah.
And he's never turned into that. And like I say, he's played well in the last couple of matches. And to his credit, like Tuesday night, he was very good. But even at his best, you just think he's just a decent midfielder, nothing more. And when he's at his worst, my God, that was awful today. That was really amateurish.
Yeah, I said on the stream he's worse than a passenger in the side when he's playing badly. But so he gave away this needless corner, and from that corner, as you can probably guess, Blackpool scored. Very good ball into the box. Again, not great
marking. Shocking marking, though.
Yeah, I mean, Ballard's just done well. I mean, he's got to jump on Ruffles, and he's got a couple of yards on him and powered a header in from 8 yards. It's not great. It's poor defending from Oxford, but gifted really from a needless corner. And all of a sudden, we've got a mountain to climb, or a Blackpool Tower sized mountain to climb, if you like, for the second half.
The second half starts. A chance to sort of get back into the game. What happens?
I thought Oxford. I don't know. He made changes, didn't he? He did haul Liam Kelly off, and he bought Goran off, and he bought Anthony Ford on and Shadipo. So Oxford did go for it a bit more, and I thought at times we did play well, and there was a couple of really good chances that we missed, which could have got us back into the game, namely through Rob Atkinson missing a very similar header to what Blackpool scored their second goal with, which would have given Oxford a lifeline. But instead of powering it into the net, he just powder puffed it straight back to the goalkeeper.
Slap back with his chest,
Yeah, and it was little things like that. And then there was times where we broke and we maybe picked the wrong pass. But all in all, Blackpool, when they were under pressure, I thought demonstrated a lot more desire to keep the ball out than we did. Putting the bodies on the line, blocking shots, getting across. And let's be fair, they looked dangerous every time they went forward, and they could have easily got a third goal.
I mean, you're talking about the incident where basically Rob Atkinson sat on the ball to stop it going into the back of the net.
But did you not think that when they came forward, they seemed to get behind us with ease?
When we were playing our long balls forward to Taylor was always marked. He was always having to sort of like struggle and try and find a pass or click the ball onto someone else. And he was doing all right, but, he was certainly sort of struggling. He was struggling. Every time they pumped a long ball forward, their guy was in space. They seemed very good at eluding Moore and Atkinson. And they would just seem to be able to suddenly put us under a lot more pressure. So, yeah, they did. I don't know quite what it was, but they definitely seemed to be, every time they launched an attack, it looked a hell of a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, it was always felt like a bit of a scramble, didn't it, to clear our lines? But look, I mean, and then Winnell came on, which was a good thing. I mean, it's nice to see him back, and Adji came on, and they looked a bit of a nuisance, and Adji could have scored at one point. And you felt if Oxford could have got that one at any stage, it might have set up a grandstand finish. But it wasn't to be, and it wasn't deserved. Certainly wasn't deserved. And
the Blackpool match petered out, didn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
And Blackpool ended up very, very comfortable winners in this one. Very much one step forward on Tuesday night and a massive step back here today. Just before we wrap this one up, I'm just going to say that Oxford do have a very winnable game on Tuesday night against Northampton, which takes on bigger significance off the back of this defeat. You feel like, I hate to say must win, but you feel like it is important to get something from that game. But it's such a tight league and such a crazy league these results are going to happen, aren't they? We're going to have. It seems like half the side. It seems like 1 week everybody's going through a kind of win 1 week, lose the next week kind of form.
It's you look at the results, and it's with the exception, probable exception of Sunderland, it's wildly inconsistent in the league there at the moment. I mean, Saturday's opponents, Lincoln, are suddenly starting to sort of drop points, but be a little bit more inconsistent. So, it's just probably the sheer volumes of games we're playing. It's basically Tuesday, Saturday between now and the end of the season, and that is really going to take its toll.
It does take its toll, and as I say, we see it in Oxford, don't we? We watch the games every week, so we see the good and the bad. But I'm sure every other side in League One is feeling that. And nice that you brought up the Lincoln game, because we'll get to that in a second. But it's on a Friday night, not on a Saturday. Right, so not very good. I'm just going to throw it over to you one more time, Rob. Have you got anything more to add about this game before I'll just go into my other thing that really annoyed me about this match?
Just that it's a disappointing result, and like you're saying, probably in the comments there'll be loads of people dooming and glooming it, but it's just a bad result. If we can get something Tuesday night, we're going to start feeling a lot better. So probably put this one to bed and go again.
Wise counsel there. Wise counsel from a man who's watched a lot of rubbish Oxford United football over the years. My other thing that annoyed me, Robert, was from Matt Taylor, where and he has this habit of doing this, where he tries to get involved in the game a little bit more than he should. In the second half, he wins a throw-in, and then he's adamant that he can take this throw-in. Well, also throwing in a decent position where you could have taken your time and built an attack. He takes it, tries to take it. I think he shoos someone away from taking it, and he gives away a foul throw. Wow, it was so bad and so sloppy, and just summed up along with that Kelly mistake of just how sloppy Oxford were today.
Well, when we were so thrilled when we got Taylor at the start of the year, at the start of the season, it wasn't because he's a long throw merchant. It wasn't because we thought, oh great, we got the next Vinnie Jones here launching it into the box.
Yeah, like Rory the Lap.
That's the one. That's the name I was trying to remember, because I had to go back to Vinnie Jones. But he tries to get involved too much, like you said. He just wants to try and feel like I must do it all, And as opposed to sort of like winning the throw in and then getting back into the box where he's going to be dangerous, he's trying to do everything. And obviously, he's an experienced pro and it's worked from his career, but it's very exasperating at times.
Yeah, you said it before, haven't you? Where sometimes he just tries to, he's got to be the one to pull Oxford through, and sometimes it's just like, just get in the penalty box, Matt, and we'll supply. Well, maybe that's why he does it, because we're not supplying him with chances. But
get the penalty box, Matt, the ball getting nowhere near you.
I don't think we've got too much more to say about this one. We're going to wrap it up now. Just as Robert said, forget this game. Oxford fans will move on to Tuesday night. It's a bit of a quieter week on Very Biased Opinions this week, with it being International Week. There's no Premier League predictions. There's no Champions League predictions. And we're not going to be doing a preview video for the Oxford Lincoln game. So it's just going to be League One predictions, and we're going to do the live stream on the Friday night for Oxford versus Lincoln. So look forward to that one. But if you like this channel and if you like the content, please hit that like button. That helps us out so much on YouTube, you wouldn't believe. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing. And if you do, hit the notify bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. If you want to support us further, and believe me, you don't have to, hitting that like button is more than enough. But if you do feel like you want to support the channel, we do have a Patreon. The details are on the screen. It's as little as £4 a month if you do want to support the channel. We're grateful for anybody that does that. This man here is a Patreon. And
as a Patreon backer, you can force Tom to take a sabbatical and get your own video on there. It doesn't say that in the instructions, but that's on the unwritten rule.
Yeah.
So you wait for the videos. Pay.
You wait for the videos of our other Patreon backers coming in the future. But so if you want to do that, that is absolutely great. And other than that, thank you, Robert, for joining us on this video. It's great to have you here. Thanks for stepping in for Tom, and I hope you enjoyed it. And give us loads of comments down below, and Blackpool fans, give us comments too. Well done to you today. You were much the better side. And we will move on to Tuesday. Keep the faith, Oxford fans. We'll see you soon.